Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, so now we're talking game two of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat. Um, Two words: scramble mode. It's getting hectic for Ime Udoka and these Boston Celtics, you guys. Derek White is going to miss this game with personal reasons. Um, Al Horford is going to miss this game, or is listed as doubtful, but likely to miss this game. Health and safety protocol. Dealing with Marcus Smart, who's playing through some pain right now. I'm not sure if it's labeled an injury, but we know he's banged up quite a bit in multiple areas, and he's going to be relied upon more tonight without Derek White. Peyton Pritchard has been up and down, particularly um, shooting the ball. They're going to need him to be excellent tonight without Derek White. I think the truth of the matter is, though, for me personally, yes, do I hate the fact that the Celtics are a team that doesn't have the depth right now? Do I hate the fact that they're going to have to rely upon some people? Yes. But I think what I do in this situation, if I'm Ime Udoka, is only play like 7 players. Everybody getting 40 minutes tonight, you guys. Y'all running. And you know what? That's not good for us because this is a long series and we still got a lot of playoffs left to play. But I think that the players that I'm relying upon to play those 40 minutes are the type of guys that you're happy to have play 40 minutes. And most importantly, the defense is not happy to see for 40 minutes. That's how you have to look at this. It's like, all right, we're not deep. We're not as flexible. We got key players missing. But what we do have is two of the best defensive players in the world on our team who we are now forced to play 40 plus minutes. That is Marcus Smart and Robert Williams. Keep them on the floor, and of course, Grant Williams, who's also one of the best defenders in the league. I'm going Thibodeau mode tonight. You're going to see maybe 2 bench players tonight, but I'm running Grant Williams into the ground. He's getting 48 minutes tonight. Jason Tatum, you're getting 48 minutes tonight. I'm going all in because the way I see it is, this is a game I got to win. I don't care who's in green. If I'm the Boston Celtics, I need to win this game because I trust that I can get Al Horford back possibly for game 3. Derek White situation, whatever it may be, he is not injured, so he should be back for game 3. The game is in your house in game 3. Some of these shots are going to hit for us that's not falling against Miami. Maybe their players won't play as well in our building, so we're more likely to get that win anyway. But we must get tonight's win because if we go down 0-2 against that defense, you and I both know this series is over. I know a lot of people think, I've been hearing a lot of people say, oh, the Celtics can win 2 games at home and tie up the series. That's not the point. That is not the point. I don't doubt they can get this series to 2-2. What I doubt is they'll be able to finish it off. They're going to be too tired. They're already banged up. Miami's going to have plenty of film at that point to have seen this team through and through, and will have schemes ready to knock them off by then. You got to get this series early. You got to put Miami up against the wall. You got to make them forget about the fact that they have advantages with their depth at this point. You got to take a game from them. And so, in my mind, that's a whole lot of Williams. That's 48 minutes of 2 Williams guys. That's going to be making things hard on you defensively. That's Marcus Smart hounding the hell out of you. This game should not be in the hundreds in terms of score. Both teams should score under 95 points in my opinion, because it ain't gonna be nothing but defense going on. Ain't nothing but defense going on. So be ready for that. Jimmy Butler getting to the line 19 times. That's his game. I was listening to one of the network people saying that, this is something that he's been doing. People aren't paying a lot of attention to it, but he gets to the line like this consistently all the time throughout his entire career, and I think that getting used to him being at the line is something like you should get used to, just like Harden, just like Trae Young. These guys know how to draw fouls, and Jimmy had that on full display in this game, game 1 rather. So in game 2, I expect the Boston Celtics to try to limit that. How you do that, I do not know, but they have, obviously, as I said, smart defensive players that should be able to figure out this particular assignment. If you're going to allow Jimmy to beat you, he will. The Miami Heat are used to most of their team not being able to score. The only two players they really rely upon to score is Tyler Hero and Jimmy Butler. So if you think for 1 second they're not going to take all the points and have that be enough, you're wrong. That is exactly what they can do. They're not an offensive team. They're looking to attack you defensively. And that's what scares me about this series for the Celtics. It's like I'm hearing people say, how is it, the way they think the Celtics are supposed to win tonight's game? I heard Jay Will say Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown need to be prolific. Yeah, that would be wonderful if they were going up against the, say, Lakers, because they would be able to impose their will on that defense in that way. We don't play no defense. It would be fun for them. That would be your solution. Impose your will and be prolific. But let me tell you something. The Miami Heat, their whole game plan is to stop you from being able to do that. So if that's the only way you can win, you're probably going to lose. No disrespect to Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but they got real defensive players that are going to be coming up against them. I don't expect them to go off for no 50 points tonight. I expect them to be attempting shots that would get them to 50, but they're probably going to have to take 30 of them to get there. That's what Miami does to you. This is not a Miami team that is going to just let you go off. No, that's not what they do. You got Bam Adebayo, you got Jimmy Butler, you got Max Strus, you got Victor Oladipo, you got PJ Tucker, you got Dwayne Dedmon. All these people play defense. All of them. And so it's like, these are big bodies that they're going to be throwing at Jason Tatum. He drives to the lane, he's going to feel a bump. He's jumping, he's going to have arms up contesting him. It's not like he's going to be able to be his best self with open jump shots and all that. Nah, he going to have to do that against elite defense. And so, like, all this talk about them going off, like, superstars, not limited to these particular superstars, but superstars are overrated in a sense that you can be schemed and removed from a game, no matter how great of a superstar you are. If the defense focuses in on you, you're going to be affected by that. It's only like 3 or 4 players in the history of the sport that can defy that. Like, literally. So when you see a guy like KD get removed from a game, or you see a guy like Trae Young get removed, or you see a guy like Jason Tatum not shoot very well, yeah, the defense is going to have something to say about that. The defensive side of the ball can be great as well. They just don't get the type of attention that the net, from the networks, because it's not as sexy to see defense. But on the floor, yeah, real players and real coaches respect the greatness of defense and understand that, does great offense often beat great defense? Can a great defensive player find himself on the wrong side of a great offensive play? Of course. But great defense is going to beat great offense a lot of the time too. And in this case, I've seen flaws in these young fellas' game. I like Jason Tatum and I like Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown is a fantastic player. He just doesn't get the usage he needs on this team because of the presence of Jason Tatum. I think that's the problem. It's almost like I look at Milwaukee's situation last year. Yes, is Giannis your best player? Of course. But you're not going to win until you start giving your number 2, which in their case was Chris Middleton, the right of way to create and really take on some number 1 like responsibility. Because the defense is looking for Jason Tatum to shoot 27 shots, and they're looking for Jaylen Brown to take maybe 18 shots. And that's not an exact, I'm just saying by example. You already know that's coming. You already know more than half of the time it's going to be the other guy. So it's like, no. And in this case, you got to let Jaylen Brown have more shots sometimes. You got to let Jaylen Brown take over sometimes. You got to let Jaylen Brown have those same looks that you're giving Jason Tatum so that he can attack in his way. Because what he does is drives more. He puts more pressure on the rim than Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum likes to settle for jumpers. And if them jumpers ain't falling, he's still shooting jumpers. And if those jumpers ain't falling, guess what he going to do? He going to shoot more jumpers. And I've always seen that he has good ability at driving at the rim. He can finish at will. If he can dunk on people. I've already seen him dunk on the best. He can do it. But he doesn't choose to. He'll settle for a jump shot more than not. And Jaylen doesn't necessarily have that problem. And that's why I want them to give Jaylen more looks, because Jaylen's going to draw more fouls. He's going to do more to Jimmy what Jimmy's doing to y'all. as to where Jason Tatum gonna settle. And I don't really want Jason driving at the rim taking punishment because I don't think that's really what he should be doing. He probably should be taking jump shots. It's just that those jump shots should be open or created with more space. And how does that happen? By giving the ball to Jalen, let him drive at the damn rim. That is how the Celtics are going to succeed offensively. It's not going to be letting Jason Tatum shoot straightaways from jumpers. You understand he can hit those shots, but you also understand he's going to miss a lot of them. Period. They have these scoring drops for this reason. This is why they go on scoring drops. So that's something I think is going to be a problem for them, whether they have their full spectrum of players or not against this defense. Miami is always going to force them into jump shots so long as they're as predictable as they have been. I think a solution to that could also be more Grant Williams. Obviously, he could light it up. I don't want him taking 18 threes, but he could light it up. So he definitely gives them a bit more room when he's a threat. He's not often a threat. So, it would be great if he were a bit more consistent from behind the arc. Not necessarily with his percentages, because he is, but in terms of I'm going to take 3 shots a game, I'm going to take 4 shots a game. If he were a little more consistent in that way, I think you could rely upon that space a bit more. So that's what I think, man. They don't have enough offensive weapons to make Jason Tatum's shot selections better. If he were in a different situation where they had more weapons, those same shots aren't bad shots, is what I'm telling you. It's weird like that, but that's basketball for you. Anyway, so, yeah, more Jaylen Brown, man. More Jaylen Brown. Also, they're going to have to not to turn the ball over as much against this defense. Obviously, the Boston Celtics, they're up against it. These guys have active hands, live arms all times. But the key to all of what the Boston Celtics need to do is in making that defense they're going up against less effective. That's the whole point of everything we've been saying the whole time, basically. You got to make their defense less effective. You got to make that defense something that isn't controlling the series. Because Boston has a great defense, but they're missing key players. And once that bench comes in, they're not going to have that same dynamic. Now, I did like what I saw from Aaron Nesmith. He blocked 3 shots, showed what he can do in that way. He didn't scratch on the offensive end. He still have a lot to learn about the player. I don't know how much usage they'll give him, but I'd imagine after a performance like that, coupled with the missing players, they will have to call his number tonight. So we'll see if he can continue to impose his will on the defensive end. I actually think the absence of Derek White could potentially be a addition by subtraction, honestly, as poorly as he's played. It could be like Kyle Lowry's situation. He's missing Miami, and the teams look a lot better without him. I think it's probably the same thing. But the problem is Boston doesn't have the depth to make that work for themselves. So even if they start off well with their bench or whatever, with their starters, as the bench comes in, you expect some drop off. And Miami has the combination of players there, the ability to put players on the floor that can make things very difficult once that happens. There's some things that, like this could be an Oladipo night or something like that, or a Tyler Hero night. Once that Boston bench come in, expect Hero to go off or something of that nature. So, yeah, man, this is definitely a Miami game. I have no question about it. In their building, unless Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are prolific, for which I think Miami will make sure doesn't happen, this game should automatically just go straight to the Miami Heat. Straight to it. I expect the Max Struses and the Gabe Vincents and all of these guys. Gabe had a great game, by the way. I expect them to continue to play well at home. That's what the Heat do. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to mean it. They have a bunch of front runners over there, man. They play great at home and on the road. It's Jimmy and maybe Tyler show up, maybe Bam, that's about it. The rest of their guys do not want to be showing up on the road, and I've been seeing that, and that's going to be the bane of the Miami Heat if they don't fix it. So, and that's on the offensive end, not defense. Defensively, they play 48 minutes no matter where the game is. But offensively, man, and Max Struses of the world and the Gabes and those guys, they don't hit the same shots. They don't. And so I expect them to play great tonight. And then when the series shifts to Boston, I expect that trend to continue. And then I expect that to be inverted. And some of those players that don't necessarily hit shots on the road for Boston, I'm going to go back home and see green shots fall. So that's what I got, man. That's what I'm thinking. I expect Miami to win this game pretty handily, to be honest with you. Jimmy's going to continue to drive. Bam's going to continue to defend. And the Boston Celtics are going to likely have to shrink their bench and rely upon players a lot. If they're able to get this victory, I like that for the Boston Celtics quite a bit, because now the series goes back on, blah, blah, blah. We already said that. If they lose this game, if the Boston Celtics lose this game, we are looking at a situation where, and this is not the direction you think I'm going to go, I am very curious to see what Miami does in regards to bringing Kyle Lowry back. Because as we have seen, and as I have said, Kyle Lowry was struggling mightily when we last saw him in these playoffs. And granted, a lot of that had to do with his hobbling around and stuff like that. But most importantly, you understand that he is a very high usage, high attention player. So if he isn't right and they put him back in the lineup, right? They just throw him back out there to be his regular self and he ain't right, that can get the Celtics what they need to get back in the series if for some reason they go down 0-2. So I'm very curious to see if Miami's going to step on their own success by trying to incorporate a player back into their lineup that they struggled with in these playoffs. I saw the Dallas Mavericks have a little bit of a weird kind of dynamic during the Utah series when they brought Luka back after having success. Of course, they got it together because that's Luka Doncic. But I think that same dynamic could be present if they try to bring Kyle Lowry back in this series and give him the ball, give him 40 minutes and have him handling the ball and doing all the stuff he normally does. Just because a guy has championship experience and all this and that and the third does not mean that he's the piece you bring back into this series, especially if you find yourself up. You don't want to play with these Boston Celtics, because the thing you need to understand about these Celtics is they're starting the series off hobbled. The longer this series progresses, the healthier the Celtics get. In theory, Marcus Smart, if he doesn't bang himself up too much tonight trying to play 40 minutes, these guys should, in theory, be getting healthier. So, and everybody back. So they should get stronger as the series progresses. This is so very important for Miami to get a game like this because of it. I think they will get the game, but they had damn well better. That's basically what I got to say. So, yeah, that's where we're at, man. Miami's in control, but, you know, they could do some things that could hurt themselves if they don't play it smart. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Boston Celtics, they're dealing with injuries, man. If they were healthy, I'd have a lot more confidence in what they got going on. But right now, with those people missing, adjustments are going to be hard to execute. That's what I'm saying to you. Udoka's going to have a plan. Without all his pieces, that plan may not necessarily be possible. So that's really what it is, man. BDF 44. Everyone enjoy the game. It's tonight. I didn't check the time. I should have. But game 2 is up and ready to go in Miami. I'm just going to be jumping, too. You know the fans are going to be ready. White Hot is in full effect. That's what we got here at BDF 44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.